Yo, my people, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're good, hope you're well. Hit the like button first and foremost. Make sure you're subscribed, do all of that stuff. You already know what it is. My channel, Turkish LDN, the Big Six Show. That's some love too. But it's a bit of breaking news, and yeah, I mean, the breaking news has been flying, not only in July, but over the last few days. Quite a few players under the microscope in regards to Arsenal Football Club, and one that came about a couple weeks ago, in terms of interest, in terms of initial bid, talks, personal terms, all of that, is Christian Mosquera. We've now had the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. I'm about to read out what he said. But it's something that we all saw coming. It's something that with a year left on his contract, the ball was in our court, considering the talk from the Fabrizios and the Ornsteins was that he is waiting for Arsenal to, do what they need to do, and he's not signing a new contract because they tried, and that also bodes well. They want to keep one of their young, talented players. They tried, and with that Arsenal interest on the horizon, Mosquera has decided to, play the trump card, and with a year left, command a fee for Valencia, which seems to be all in around the £18 million mark, just north of 20 million euros. And yeah, I mean, for that fee, for the price all in, when you consider how young he is, and the wages that he will command at Arsenal Football Club, which shouldn't be too much. And you also consider how ruthless we were with Tomiyasu recently. I say ruthless, I mean, it was a mutual agreement. Maybe, it also worked well for Tomiyasu to potentially go somewhere he's more comfortable in getting his treatment, and hopefully returning back to action for someone over the next 12 months or so. It was a ruthless action in the sense that, it looked like he was one of the free-ish injury prone players that were heading into the next season with an injury on the cards that was going to keep him at till December. But we've moved on from him, and with Mosquera coming in at that price, like I said, I'm happy with it. Now, there's a fear in the back of my mind. Yes, pessimistic Turkish. There's a fear in the back of my mind that his profile, his age, the fact he suits right centre back more than he does left. He has played both, as well as the flanks, fullback positions too, and that obviously bodes well for Mikel, the system, and having players that can mold into different positions and do different things in those positions. We've all got an eye on Saliba's contract as well, with 2 years or 2 seasons left to go. Is Mosquera potentially the replacement in waiting now? Now that he's about to sign, it's a here we go, and it's not often a here we go comes, and we don't see the player holding up a shirt regardless of the club we're talking about. So I'm going to talk as if we've signed him. Now, if it comes back to haunt me, haunt us, then blame the club, as we should. But yeah, we've moved pretty efficiently to get Mosquera. The interest was there for a couple of weeks, and now we've got the deal done at a reasonable fee. I'm still waiting on a couple more big name signings to come in on the opposite end of the pitch, but yeah, we're all waiting for those ones. We're all waiting for those, and I say those people, not just Gyökeres, which should be over the line as well. But when that needs to be talked about, that will be talked about. But let's get back to Mosquera. The fear in the back of my mind in terms of Saliba, 2 years left, push that to the side. And let's talk about the player. I'm not going to sit here and act like I've watched Valencia. I haven't watched a 90-minute Valencia game since maybe, I don't know, maybe was it Europa League semi-final? Yeah, probably Europa League semi-finals, because we was involved. And that was a while ago now. But Mosquera's kind of, his name has been building over the last couple of years. He's played a hell of a lot of games for Valencia over the last couple of years. And on the injury front, that bodes well. I think he's played 35 plus over the last couple of seasons, where he's, made his initial impact and hasn't looked back. So that bodes well. He's played a lot of games, 90, I believe, in total across the last 2 years, including Copa del Rey, Super Copa, whatever other competitions they have over there. But Valencia haven't been, the Valencia that either the young fans know as a Europa League, UEFA Cup regular, or older fans like me remember in terms of Champions League football and a couple of gems they used to have. They're a long way gone, or that far gone from that. Some might say us as well, 21 years, no title. The last couple of years, they finished, again, off the top of my head, bottom half of the table a couple seasons ago, and I think ninth last season. But when I delve into the reasons why, defensively, there's room for improvement overall. But it's the attack over the last couple of years that have cost Valencia more in terms of their name, their heritage, being more of a top 6, top 7, top 8 place team in La Liga. Now, listen, Spanish fans, people in the comment section might be like, "Nah, you don't know what Valencia are about. They've always been like this." But maybe so. But yeah, when I look at Valencia, I mean, defensively, I don't think their true problems lie there. It's more in the attack. And Mosquera, mentioned earlier, he's played across the back line, in different positions, doing different things. The Athletic actually released quite a good breakdown, including examples and clips and videos of moments that, link to what they're talking about. I say right centre back is his preferred position. He's a right-footed young centre back, so naturally that will be the preferred position. And when you go into the statistics regarding tackle success rate, or true tackle, I don't know what it's all about, but yeah, it's more favorable on the right hand side, even though it's a favorable that attribute that he possesses, regardless of the position he plays. He's played left centre back, he's played full back, and I guess, as mentioned earlier, that will suit what Mikel Arteta wants in a defender. But you look at Calafiori and Kivior, young left-footed centre backs. It's only right to add a young right-footed centre back to the ranks as well. And if the rumours and the ratings are to be believed, we've got a potential quality young centre back on our hands. Hopefully we can see a bit of him Carabao Cup and slots in when need be in games across the Premier League, FA Cup season, because we've seen how much games Saliba and Gabriel have played. Obviously, Gabriel picked up that big injury, but we've seen how many games they've had to play over the last few years without much rotation. So hopefully we're in a position now, with Mosquera coming in a position where we can sit back and say the defense is complete. Every position has a backup and every backup has a backup. My only worry is that right hand side, and I mentioned Mosquera can play fullback, right back more often than not, right footed. It just tends to be the preference for most. Timber's coming off the back of a season where he's played close to 50 games off the back of an ACL, and he's picked up something along the way that he's had to get operated on, I believe, at the beginning of the window. So how's he going to return? Should we be relying on him like we had to this season? And I say we had to because the other candidate for that position, Ben White, the one that was holding it down before Timber got his opportunity last year, because he couldn't hold it down no more in Ben White. How's he going to return from a season of very little football, very little consistent game time? And the times we saw him towards the end, you could tell that he's been out of action for a little while. Now, fingers crossed, they both are fit, ready, available, and 100% for the majority of games. But there are worries for both players in terms of how much we've had to rely on Timber last season and Ben White on the previous two, which caused the last season for Ben White. It's a bit of a roundabout there. So Mosquera comes in, he can play right back as well, but more importantly, right centre back cover for William Saliba, where we've got two players in Timber and Ben White that can slot in there. But let's make sure they're back ready, fit, and available for their primary position, which in my opinion is at right back. But yes, both can fill in for Saliba too if need be. But Mosquera comes in, people. Here we go. I'm sure he'll be holding up the Arsenal shirt real soon, and I'm sure Cecil will be waving the Spanish flag or the Colombian flag. He's Colombian heritage, born in Spain, so Cecil might wave both of them about for a welcome video. We'll see, people, but make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and love for the love. I'm out. Peace.